welcome to the World Session. This is your weekly tune-up, feel-good time just for you, February 27th, 2024. So today I thought I'd work a little bit differently, just kind of tuning into transmutational, transformative energy. So some of us could be transforming us, some of us could be actually, literally transmuting areas of the body mind. So this is just for you to kind of tune into whatever is going on for you, and it's going to be under the auspices of creativity. I've been talking about this a lot over the last week, is getting curious about things. We tend to have this idea of, let's say, I'm going to exercise, but I have to exercise like this. And if I don't exercise like this, and if I don't exercise at this time, if I don't do it this way with this intensity, then I am just not going to do it at all, right? Which is just terrible. It's just really denotes the structures, the kind of, let's say, I'm saying structures, but I'm feeling the girders, like the steel girders of the construction of our entire central nervous system, and the lack of fluidity, the lack of curiosity, the lack of change, right? There's a huge part where if I change, it's going to bring up my fear. So let's do that one first. If I change, then it could be a good thing. We all want change. But there's some unconscious patterns that if I change, there maybe somebody won't like me anymore. If I say something without controlling it, maybe someone will disagree with me and I won't be able to manage it. If I exercise, gently, I'm not really getting my work done, so I'm not getting my workout. Everybody says that's a good way to know where you're rigid, is everybody says you should do this, that, or the other thing. This is how much water you should drink. And then you find you're drowning your system. You don't have enough minerals anymore because you've washed your body of minerals, etc. Oh, by the way, I got my hydrogenator. It's really cool. The water definitely tastes different. And it's a little bit weird what I'm going to say, but the urine stream that I had totally transformed to a very ebullient urine stream. So that was really surprising. The second thing that's really surprising me is my partner, who rarely follows the things I do. I've got all these devices, I've got, tuning forks, I've got all kinds of stuff to help him. But this, without me asking or saying anything, he just started using it, and he's using it more than I am. So I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, so something's going on with this hydrogenator. So I'm very happy with it so far. Yeah, so just saying that, and maybe we could bring in the consciousness of, usually I love to add oxygen, right? So it's H2O, but H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. H2O3 is the structured water that we need for the system. So it's negatively charged and water's moving. But in this case, we're adding hydrogen, which I'm finding fascinating. So we're going to use a scalar wave. Maybe I should use sound too. What do we say? Do we use sound? Yes. All right. So this is GNC. I lost my ohm. One of my clients borrowed it and never brought it back. So one day I'll have to get an ohm, which I really love. I'm going to meditate while we're talking on an ohm, but we'll do GNC. And this is to extend the vibration of the omnidirectional scalar wave and bringing that information of quality water. So whatever you need, you could just be with your body, whatever it is you need. Now, remember, I brought up creativity. We want to do transmutation and creativity. Creativity can be very fiery, right? Now, curiosity could be the intellect, which is air. So let's get all three elements along with the musical notes. So just breathe and feel into it. So something's going on in the root chakra with water, root chakra with water. So we're just going to balance root chakra with water. Maybe it gets too dry, maybe it gets too wet. It's going to depend on the individual. Let's bring in the sounds again so that root chakra and water will work well together. I'm going towards the navel. So we're in the solar plexus area, the navel, just above the navel. We're going to look at clearing some of the energy patterns from mother. It's also from father, but the umbilicus goes directly to mother. We need to clear that. And these are any blocks that you're ready to transmute that belong to the mother. Blocks you need to transmute. This is an individuation process, as well as a really wonderful clearing of stuff you've already worked with. The psoas muscle is coming in right now too. I can feel it moving. It's really interesting. It's moving from the anterior portion of the psoas, which is on the lesser trochanter, moves through the pelvic basin and then up the spine. I can feel the whole thing like, wow, let's go. Clear that navel, just clearing the navel of the patterns with the mother. Patterns with the mother. You might even see those patterns coming up. And I'm going to label it manipulation and abuse, right? That no matter what, the mom could be manipulative in some way because we have belief systems. So we can end up manipulating no matter who we are. This is also the father, but the father energy is a little different than the mother energy. So we're working with the mother who is the devouring mother, the mother who needs the child to fulfill her, the mother who maybe neglects the child. So whatever your pattern is, the mother who needs their child sick, that's the Munchausen by proxy. Remember, I'm thinking of it on the spectrum. So we can have the really severe, but we can have very light where, oh, sweetheart, don't go to school today. We'll pretend you're sick, which also is a little bit of a problem. That can be problematic. I've heard, tell of quite a few moms who do that kind of thing. Their own loneliness, right? The loneliness of the mother. So it's all of those elements. Now, if you are a mother, this is going to work twofold for you. You're removing that connection, those blocks to your mother, but then you're also supporting your child. Okay, so let's go again. I'm getting this massive pain in this arm going right through the hand, the inner elbow to the hand. This is interesting. It's already going. What was that? Do I need to find out what it was? No? Okay, let's forget about it. Let's just do it. Okay, I'm already at heart chakra, so just breathe. Heart chakra, we're vibrating with the resonance of the heart. We're just going to raise it an octave. Just raise that vibration so it can burn through. We know the heart in Chinese medicine is fire. We can let it burn through all of the superior, the surface thinking patterns and garbage that are there that block the sense of transmutation. And I'm going to go straight into the thymus gland. Okay, so somehow the thymus gland now is really struggling to stay alive. So we want to keep it alive in relationship to the immune system so that we can go down pancreas for adaptability. We want to be able to adapt. So there are changes in the collective that can, they could look really good. They could look like they're moving us forward, but they can actually take us backward. So it's really to get the whole sense of, let's say, eighth chakra, the movement in our body minds through the energy systems, our wisdom throughout the ages that comes through the heart that is required to question whatever new things come in, new ideas. Let's say, for example, technology, for example, AI. I mean, AI is moving at an accelerated rate. Will our perceptions adapt? So we'll know immediately that this is a fake video or not? Is this really like in the future? Will there be fake videos of me? You guys aren't on, but I could even say when you go on, will there be fake videos of you that, put words in your mouth, etc. So, that's the least of our worries, right? AI can, AI is lying, right? How come it's lying? That's really crazy. It actually lies. So that's weird, right? That's like so strange. I mean, it's accessing all this information. How is it possible it can lie? I mean, obviously the algorithm, but yeah, wow, that's crazy. So, things are becoming precarious now. Our adaptation to that precariousness, so we know that, eventually we're going to look on Google and all these different things and just go, oh, it's like TV. It's no longer information, which is a shame, right? If it goes that way, but hopefully we'll be able to discern it and be able to, keep up with information online because it's so beautiful, right? This beauty that we have and then this difficulty. So let's allow the wisdom. And what kind of wisdom is coming up? What kind of wisdom? It's the wisdom to be curious. There we go. So it's interesting. We've traveled away from creativity, but we're going to have to adapt and become more and more creative, right? There's another piece too that could be really important is like kids are using phones and technology so much. I've seen some videos of there's a girl who is online, fake or real, it doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit scary to see this, where she says, am I the only one? I can't be the only one who didn't know you could take fruit off the tree and eat it. Yeah, so she was, just positing that. And there are more people who just, where does food come from? The grocery store, right? Like they don't know it comes from the earth. So a lot of people are not in touch with there is earth outside, step on the grass, smell nature. There's a lot of stuff going on like that. So what we want to do is bring that wisdom forward so we're able to be curious and not just kind of assume everything that's coming in is okay. And it's interesting, I'm really talking to older people like me and older than me. This older generation needs to be very flexible and adaptable so we can give that wisdom. Because once we're gone, and if kids aren't going out in the world, they're not going to know how to do things. And if technology ever crashes, they're not going to know how to grow things. They're not going to know how to work with things. It's going to be quite crazy, quite insane. All right, so let's do some. This is really just imagine there's a braid coming in, from eighth to seventh, and that wisdom that we need. So that energy coming down from eighth chakra, really descending through the system, we wanted to intertwine. This is really weird. Intertwine with our perceptions of the world so that wisdom is getting imbued in our perceptions. That will also, from what I'm seeing, squeeze out our fears, right? Because we become very afraid of what's going on and we become rigidified. Instead, let it be flexible so we're able to continually adapt. We know how many, what is it? Billions of years it took for this planet to evolve, and how long it takes us to evolve and adapt to something new. And if you think about the last 100 years or 123 years since the 1900, we've had to adapt really quickly. And the most important thing is finding solutions. So the solutions we found to pollution, right? So when I was younger, pollution was worse in the cities than it is today in North America. I'm not talking around the world. Around the world, they're still catching up to that technology. So the things we did with cars, we put that filter on, so there's less noise, there's less smell, there's less pollution in the air, adding trees, etc. So there's lots of stuff that we do, but we want to keep that adaptability to keep changing. Okay. So just feel into eighth chakra. You might not feel it, but you might feel something happening as we go through the crown and spread out sort of that consciousness. It's going to go as far as it will for you. We want that information to adapt and integrate. Really, it's a synthesis. That's it. It's a synthesis. So here we go. We're going to use sound again. Okay, and another thing coming up for those of us who get dizzy, we did some work that really got my brain going quite dizzy. So we'll get the poles balanced to us. We might have to keep doing that all the time because every time the poles shift, we need a new balancing. So I'm just going to hold on to this is a quartz crystal on the crown, just to represent, let's say, north-south pole. South pole, I'm going to hold ruby. And yeah, that really feels good. That's real. We need a little grounding. That's jasper. So just bringing in some grounding. Yeah, that really helps with the dizziness. Let's see if I can do this. Now it's getting a little tricky here, but let's go. You just feel that crystal's really clearing that crown chakra. So this is for the receptivity of information. So you're getting information from the divine, the universal, but it's only going to be whatever, it's only going to be whatever Ganesh says. So the base of the brain is Ganesha, and we want Ganesh to be very strong because we don't want all information to go in that we're not prepared for. So your Ganesh is being refined. So we're going to do, I think we'll just use third eye and Ganesha to, whoa, breathe. Nice. Yeah, something's going. So one of the things that I've seen since my early 20s is when we go into the third eye, there's a porthole in there. I'm not going to tell you all the porthole because I don't want you started activating it in case it's not right for you. But I can feel the porthole refining itself. So whatever it is you'll need, it will start to work for you, even if it's interplanetary travel, parallel lifetimes, that kind of thing. And we clear the filters to that as well. This is ruby. Okay, there's a grounding. We're going to ground to the base of the feet. And we're going to do now, there's detritus that has come out, the energy field. So all of your fields, we're doing etheric double, physical, mental, emotional, etc., causal body. And I'm just going to clear the aura, all of the aura. This is, I'm imagining I'm just the planet, just holding that energy, and we're going to clear the whole thing and unblock. So there has to be a lot of stuff unblocking for us to continue the adaptability and transmutation of everything going on the planet, right? Including technology, including, wow, the speed at which healing work has changed. I started this in the 70s, and it's definitely not the same as it was. There are so many people well aware of what's going on, what we do. We've got so much scientific experimentation, proper controlled studies on how much things improve. There's some that say it doesn't, but there's a lot of if not personal viewpoints. I talked to a doctor once, and he said, I work with a lot of patients, who are dying. And very often I think I'm useless. And the thing that works the most is prayer. Yeah. That feels like a collective experience that I just went through, as though the collective is grieving the loss of prayer. Interesting. So there's like a huge, wave of people who use prayer, but there's also a wave of, as we progress, we don't need prayer. I've said this many times. Even if we don't believe in God, the image of God, or you don't have a God, or you change the name of God to universal, you change the name to the divine feminine, you keep changing the name. It still doesn't change that somehow we as humans, I'm not going to go through the entire explanation, but it does need to come up here, that we believe in something. We will believe in something, even if it's believing in our own, even if we believe in our own independence as something that is so big and it's our God, I must be independent. So the more we believe in something, like, let's say, that is narcissistic, I believe in myself as the individual, and I believe in me. Well, there's your God, right? Which is, I don't know where that goes in the grand scheme of things. But if a person is suffering, we know it's going down the wrong direction. If the person is doing okay, well, then maybe there's some connection. I don't think what we do necessarily is bad or good, but the individual, I mean, there are certain things that are bad, obviously, and certain things that are good. But when it comes to your beliefs, they're part of your journey, even if that's a horrible belief that you have. But when we come to what we believe as a God, I've said this for years and people got confused with me, but it was always my God's, is better than your God, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be God in the sky. It could be, what I believe. And I've always seen that from a tiny child, that if my parents got into an argument or someone got into an argument, I always saw them as two gods that they were looking at. And one God was, trying to fight with the other one. I mean, like, don't you realize you're fighting the same thing? That ultimately it makes no difference. It just doesn't. The argument is ridiculous. Yet, being able to voice and go through things and see how we are wrong, how our ideas are really can be really stupid. I love the way Jordan Peterson puts it, but I've said it so many times, when that I'm going to have a small death the moment I realize that one of my ideas need to go. And I knew from very young, from 5 and 6 years old, if someone had to give up an idea, it was like dying. And it's so great to see Jordan Peterson just affirming, what I saw as a child, that if somebody, finds out that they have a really stupid belief system, that belief system has to die. And we actually experience pain. It is painful because somehow a part of us is dying. And what I never saw before, and I love that Jordan Peterson brings it up, is when that dies, it ensures that we don't die. It's better my ideas die than I die. So I thought, wow, that's so good. If I have a dumb idea, about life, I might enact it, I might live with it, and then it'll cause me pain. And I've had many of them, by the way, very stupid ideas about life, about what it is to be a woman, what it is to be independent. And I got into very difficult situations that I could have died. And once I had to go through it, I learned it very young that those ideas needed to die, otherwise I was going to die, and they died pretty quickly. So there you go. That's a heavy duty day. I hope that you experience the clearing. You don't have to worry about what you believe or you don't believe. Just allow the flexibility to come in so you can release things that could be dangerous to you. Okay, if it's not, that's fine. Just leave that. But the ideas that are dangerous to you, we'll just let them die. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week and see you next week. Bye.